In the vast, unforgiving expanse of space, a threat far more profound than a black hole may be lurking. While black holes relentlessly consume matter and light, gravastars possess the potential to unravel the very structure of reality. These hypothetical behemoths concentrate the mass of millions of suns within shells composed of exotic matter, a substance that established physics deems impossible. We are about to embark on an exploration into the most terrifying realms of theoretical physics. You will observe stars meeting their demise in ways that generate space-time bombs. We will investigate interiors where the flow of time reverses, and we will uncover why some scientists posit that these cosmic destroyers are already concealed amongst us. We will confront the mathematical conundrums that plague physicists and grapple with the possibility that our universe harbors invisible predators. If you are prepared to challenge every preconceived notion about the cosmos, then prepare for this journey into cosmic horror. Prepare yourselves. We descend into the abyss. Black holes possess an event horizon, but gravastars harbor something far more ominous. A black hole establishes a boundary from which nothing can escape. However, a gravastars constructs a shell of exotic matter residing in a state that physics labels impossible. Envision a soap bubble. But instead of a delicate film, imagine a barrier crafted from matter exhibiting negative pressure. This shell hangs precariously at the precise point where a black hole's event horizon should form, creating a cosmic stalemate between gravity and quantum mechanics. The distinction is terrifying. A black hole relentlessly crushes everything into a singularity at its core. A gravastars, conversely, imprisons all that matter and energy within a void where the conventional laws of physics cease to function. Consider the difference between a ravenous maw that swallows everything and a prison that confines infinite energy in a state of suspended animation. Scientists theorize that this exotic matter shell could be thinner than a single atom, yet possess strength exceeding the combined gravitational pull of 1,000,000 suns. The shell exists in a quantum state known as a Bose-Einstein condensate, where matter behaves more like waves than particles. This generates a barrier that could theoretically prevent the collapse of matter exceeding the mass of entire star systems. But herein lies the truly nightmarish aspect of gravastars. The interior of this cosmic prison may not adhere to the same temporal flow as the rest of the universe. The passage of seconds, as we perceive them, might be meaningless within a graha. Time's flow there could be reversed or non-existent. Any matter drawn into this shell becomes eternally trapped within a timeless emptiness. Mathematical models suggest grahas possess complete stability, unlike black holes, which gradually dissipate via Hawking radiation. Consequently, a formed graha could endure, unaltered, for a duration exceeding the universe's current age. They represent enduring, immutable blemishes upon the space-time continuum. Adding to the unsettling nature of these objects, gravastars might appear indistinguishable from black holes to external observation. We lack the ability to penetrate that exotic matter shell, leaving the internal horrors unknown. Therefore, every celestial body we've classified as a black hole in our galaxy could potentially be one of these cosmic confines, concealing realities that would revolutionize our comprehension of the universe. The shell itself vibrates with quantum fluctuations, potentially unleashing energy surges millions of times greater than our sun's output. These quantum tremors propagate through space-time, analogous to seismic waves traversing rock. However, instead of shaking the ground, they disturb the very dimensions within which we exist. Let us delve into the composition of the exotic matter forming these improbable structures. The shell encasing a gravar is constructed from matter defying all known physical laws. Envision attempting to erect a wall using negative bricks. Ordinary matter possesses positive energy density, causing it to curve spacetime inward, akin to a bowling ball deforming a trampoline. However, the exotic matter within a gravar's shell exhibits negative energy density, curving spacetime outward, as if pushing the trampoline upward from below. This cosmic tug-of-war sustains the entire structure. This exotic matter resides in a state termed a false vacuum, where quantum fields precariously balance on the brink of collapse. Picture a pencil balanced on its point, mathematically feasible, yet the slightest disturbance precipitates a catastrophic collapse. The shell maintains this precarious equilibrium through quantum pressure, counteracting the immense gravitational force. The shell's thickness might be measured in Planck lengths, the smallest discernible distance in physics. To illustrate, if an atom were scaled to the size of Earth, a Planck length would be smaller than a marble. Despite this infinitesimal thickness, this barrier contains sufficient exotic matter to surpass the mass of dozens of star systems. Scientists hypothesize this matter might consist of particles existing in negative energy states. These particles would possess mass, yet their contribution to the universe's energy would be negative, akin to cosmic annihilation. When normal matter approaches the shell, these negative energy particles interact, generating repulsive forces exceeding those of nuclear fusion. The shell pulsates with quantum fluctuations occurring trillions of times per second. Each pulse emits gravitational waves rippling through spacetime, analogous to sound waves in air. These are not gentle undulations. They possess sufficient energy to vaporize planets and disrupt the molecular bonds holding matter together. Further compounding the threat, this exotic matter may be contagious. Theoretical models suggest that if two gravars approach sufficiently close, their exotic matter shells could interact, triggering a cascading effect. The shells could merge and expand, forming a larger gravar that engulfs both original structures and their surroundings. The quantum mechanics governing this shell create what physicists term a firewall effect. Any information crossing into the shell becomes scrambled at the quantum level, rendering recovery impossible. This implies that anything consumed by a gravar does not merely vanish. It is permanently erased from the universe's record. The shell itself might teem with virtual particles, constantly appearing and disappearing. These particles generate a turbulent quantum foam, exhibiting temperatures exceeding those at the core of the most massive stars. This heat does not radiate outward like typical thermal energy. It remains trapped within the shell's quantum structure. However, the true horror lies in the consequences of this improbable shell's ultimate failure. When the most massive stars expire, their demise might not conclude with the formation of a black hole, but rather with something far more catastrophic. Envision a star 50 times more massive than our Sun nearing its life's end. As its nuclear fuel is depleted, gravity should inexorably crush its core into a black hole. However, quantum mechanics intervenes at the very last instant. Instead of an event horizon forming, the collapsing matter encounters a quantum barrier, abruptly halting the collapse. This pivotal moment generates what physicists term a quantum bounce. The immense weight of the star's core strikes the exotic matter shell, rebounding with the force of a rubber ball impacting concrete. But this is no gentle recoil. It is a cosmic explosion unleashing energy exceeding that of 1 trillion supernovas combined. The dying star's outer layers are violently ejected into space at velocities approaching light speed. These stellar remnants become cosmic shrapnel, capable of sterilizing vast galactic regions. Simultaneously, the core settles within the exotic matter shell, creating a gravar, a celestial entity destined to outlive the universe itself. During this creation process, temperatures soar to levels rendering the sun's core frigid by comparison. The heat is so intense that it dismantles the fundamental forces binding atoms together, reducing matter to its most basic constituents, quarks and gluons, immersed in a sea of pure energy. The gravitational waves produced during gravar formation possess sufficient energy to shatter planets thousands of light years distant. These waves propagate through spacetime like cosmic tsunamis, generating ripples detectable by instruments across the galaxy. Scientists posit that these birth cries might represent the universe's most violent events, but the process's true nightmarishness lies in the possibility of repeated quantum bounces. Each bounce generates an additional layer of exotic matter, constructing a cosmic onion-like structure. These nested shells could produce resonance effects, exponentially amplifying the gravar's power. The formation process also creates what scientists call quantum scars in spacetime, permanent distortions altering gravity's behavior around the newborn gravar. Space itself becomes contorted into forms mathematically describable, yet beyond human visualization. Some theoretical models propose that a gravar's birth could generate a bubble of altered physics, expanding outward at light speed. Inside this bubble, the constants of nature, such as the speed of light and gravitational strength, might deviate from their values in the rest of the universe. The dying star's magnetic field becomes compressed within the exotic matter shell, creating magnetic pressures millions of times stronger than anything found on Earth. This magnetic prison could trap particles and energy for billions of years, gradually accumulating pressure until it explodes in bursts of radiation, outshining entire galaxies. What emerges from this cosmic maelstrom is an interior defying every known law of physics. Venture into a gravastar, and you confront a domain where familiar laws of existence cease to apply. The gravastar's interior isn't simply empty space. It's a region where space-time itself manifests as ditter space. Envision reality inverted, with universal expansion reversing, forming a space-time bubble that contracts inwards, not outwards. This generates a cosmic kaleidoscope where causality becomes meaningless. Within this inner realm, time might flow in reverse or traverse dimensions beyond our comprehension. A clock introduced here wouldn't merely stop. It would register time along unnamed axes. Past and future lose all definition as space-time folds upon itself, like origami crafted from the very fabric of reality. The gravitational field within a gravastar pulls equally in all directions, unlike the conventional inward pull of gravity. This interior generates what physicists term negative pressure. Consequently, matter inside the gravastar experiences a force simultaneously seeking atomic-level disintegration and all-encompassing compression. Any object somehow breaching the exotic matter shell would find itself in a universe governed by distinct physical laws. The speed of light could differ. Gravity's strength might be inverted. The electromagnetic force, the binding agent of atoms, might become repulsive rather than attractive. Matter would disintegrate into constituent particles subject to currently unknown rules. The interior might be saturated with what cosmologists term dark energy, the enigmatic force propelling our universe's expansion. But within a gravastar, this dark energy becomes concentrated and chaotic, generating space-time storms that dwarf hurricanes in intensity. These cosmic tempests could disrupt the quantum vacuum itself. Scientists theorize that the interior might exist in a state of eternal inflation, where new space-time pockets continuously emerge. Each bubble could embody its own physics, forming an infinite fractal of realities nested within the gravastar's shell. These pocket universes might flicker into and out of existence in microseconds, each harboring the potential for entirely unique forms of existence. The equations describing a gravastar's inner region incorporate what physicists term imaginary time. This does not signify fictional time, but rather time existing at a 90-degree angle to the time we experience. Traversal through this imaginary time dimension could theoretically enable journeys to parallel universes or to moments that never materialize in our reality. However, perhaps most unsettling is the possibility of consciousness within the interior. Certain theoretical models posit that quantum fluctuations inside a gravastars could generate patterns intricate enough to support information processing. These gravastars might thus constitute cosmic minds, contemplating thoughts spanning millions of years and processing information at speeds rendering our fastest computers seemingly immobile. The boundary between the interior and the exotic matter shell is the horizon, not a tangible barrier, but a region where the very concept of location loses meaning. Space and time merge into a quantum foam, where particles simultaneously occupy multiple positions. This paradoxical interior may account for the complete invisibility of gravastars to our telescopes. Gravastars could be subtly present throughout our galaxy, hidden in plain sight due to their complete absence of light emission. Unlike black holes, which reveal themselves through the luminous accretion disks of matter spiraling into their event horizons, gravastars consume material silently. The exotic matter shell absorbs all matter, contacting it without generating the high-energy radiation that makes black holes detectable by our telescopes. When matter approaches a gravastars, it does not heat up through friction and compression as it does around a black hole. Instead, it simply disappears into the quantum foam of the exotic matter shell. This process yields no X-rays, no gamma rays, and no visible light, making gravastars ideal cosmic predators. The shell itself might be entirely transparent to most radiation. Light waves traversing the exotic matter could emerge unaltered, creating a gravitational lens effect that bends starlight without a visible source. This implies we might be directly observing gravastars without recognizing their presence. Scientists hypothesize that gravastars might even absorb their own gravitational waves. While black holes resonate like cosmic bells when disturbed, emitting space-time ripples detectable by our instruments, gravastars might dampen these waves within their exotic matter shells, rendering them invisible to even our most sensitive gravitational wave detectors. The quantum properties of the shell produce what physicists call a cloaking effect. The negative energy density of the exotic matter could warp space-time, deflecting all forms of electromagnetic radiation around the gravastars. This would make them undetectable to radio telescopes, optical telescopes, and even neutrino detectors, but their invisibility extends beyond mere evasion of our instruments. The quantum mechanics of the exotic matter shell might generate a bubble of altered spacetime, existing partly outside our standard four-dimensional reality. Portions of the gravastars could be concealed within extra dimensions imperceptible to us. The only potential method of detecting a gravastars might be through its gravitational influence on nearby objects. Stars orbiting an unseen gravastars would trace paths identical to those orbiting a black hole, yet without the characteristic radiation signatures. This suggests that numerous objects currently classified as black holes could actually be gravastars in disguise. Certain theoretical frameworks propose that gravastars possess the capacity to alter their gravitational signatures, effectively mimicking other celestial entities. Quantum fluctuations within the exotic matter shell could engender variability in the gravitational field, causing a gravar to appear as a neutron star, a white dwarf, or even a region of seemingly empty space. This invisibility renders gravastars exceptionally hazardous. They could traverse the cosmos undetected, akin to cosmic entities lying in wait, poised to engulf anything venturing too near. A gravar might infiltrate our solar system, remaining undiscovered until its presence disrupts planetary orbital patterns. Even more alarming is the prospect that gravastars might actively evade detection. A quantum consciousness, hypothetically residing within their cores, could possess the intelligence to manipulate the exotic matter shell for the purpose of concealment. These entities might be observing us, remaining entirely imperceptible to our current technological capabilities. The perfect invisibility of gravastars implies their gravitational waves could be far more destructive than currently envisioned. These waves possess sufficient energy to obliterate planets with the ease of shredding tissue paper. Fluctuations within a gravastar's exotic matter shell generate space-time ripples, dwarfing the gravitational waves from colliding black holes. Those waves appear as gentle pond ripples in comparison. These waves don't merely bend space-time. They stretch and compress it with such ferocity that the molecular bonds holding matter together shatter. Envision Earth within such a gravitational wave storm. The planet wouldn't simply tremble. It would undergo stretching and compression like a stress ball in a cosmic giant's grasp. The Earth's solid crust would behave like a liquid, and the oceans would vaporize into space as the forces binding water molecules are overwhelmed. Traveling at light speed, these waves offer no warning. A gravastar could unleash a gravitational wave burst that reaches Earth simultaneously with the light from a distant star. Detection of the wave would coincide with our planet's disintegration. The amplitude of these waves could be millions of times greater than anything measured from black hole mergers. While our instruments detect space stretching by less than the width of a proton, gravastar waves could stretch space by meters or even kilometers. This would generate tidal forces capable of literally ripping continents apart. However, the true terror lies in these waves' frequency. Gravastar fluctuations could produce waves oscillating at frequencies matching matter's natural resonance. This means the waves wouldn't merely shake objects. They would cause atoms to vibrate so violently that electron shells collapse and nuclear bonds break. The waves could create what physicists call spacetime shear, a twisting motion that disrupts reality along intersecting planes. Imagine space itself being severed by invisible scissors, producing fractures in existence that nothing can traverse. These fractures could isolate regions of space from the rest of the universe. When multiple gravitational waves from a single gravastar interact, interference patterns amplify the destruction. These interference effects could concentrate wave energy into beams acting as cosmic cutting tools, dissecting planets and stars with pinpoint accuracy. These waves, perhaps bearing information encoded within their very structure, might interact destructively with matter. As they traverse matter, they could disrupt the quantum states of particles, effectively deleting information from the universe. This interaction would render any affected matter fundamentally altered at the quantum level, even if superficially unchanged to our perception. Scientists hypothesize that these gravitational waves could propagate through dimensions exceeding our familiar three-dimensional space. This implies they could circumvent the usual constraints of distance and time, enabling a gravastar to influence objects theoretically beyond its reach. Furthermore, these waves could generate what theorists term gravitational focusing effects. Similar to a lens concentrating light, the warped spacetime surrounding a gravastar could focus its gravitational waves into intense beams, delivering their full energy to a single point. Such focused beams possess the potential to obliterate entire star systems. Some models propose that these waves could interfere with the quantum vacuum itself, generating regions where particles spontaneously materialize and vanish. These quantum storms could saturate space with exotic matter, fundamentally altering the physical laws within the affected zone. Yet even these catastrophic waves pale in comparison to the consequences of a single gravistar consuming entire galaxies. A single gravistar possesses the theoretical capacity to devour entire galaxies, its power escalating with each star consumed. This process initiates when a gravistar drifts into a galaxy's spiral arms. Its imperceptible gravitational field commences drawing in the outermost stars. Unlike a black hole, which announces its presence through luminous accretion disks, the gravistar feeds silently. Stars simply disappear, one by one. Their matter is absorbed into the exotic matter shell without any detectable electromagnetic signature. As the gravistar consumes matter, its exotic matter shell expands and intensifies. Each consumed star augments the shell's mass, extending its gravitational influence. The shell's growth is not merely additive, it becomes exponentially more efficient at capturing matter from increasingly vast distances. This growth process creates a cascading effect, accelerating over time. A gravistar that initially consumes individual stars soon begins drawing in entire star clusters. As it grows, it can capture globular clusters containing millions of stars, processing them simultaneously through its quantum absorption mechanisms. The invisibility of this consumption creates a galactic enigma. Astronomers within an affected galaxy would observe stars vanishing from their records without explanation. Entire constellations could vanish overnight, leaving no trace except the gravitational disturbances they leave behind. The gravistar's exotic matter shell could eventually grow to encompass multiple solar systems. At this scale, the shell would not merely absorb individual planets and stars, it would consume entire regions of spacetime, creating voids in the galaxy where existence ceases. However, the true devastation unfolds when the gravistar begins consuming the galaxy's central black hole. The exotic matter shell could envelop and absorb even supermassive black holes, adding their mass while eliminating the gravitational anchor holding the galaxy together. Without its central black hole, the galaxy would disintegrate, even as the gravistar continues consuming its outer regions. This process might span millions of years, but from the perspective of galactic civilizations, it would appear as an unstoppable cosmic apocalypse. Solar systems would be consumed from the galaxy's edge, creating an expanding sphere of nothingness advancing inward at a predictable rate. The gravistar's quantum consciousness might even accelerate this process intentionally. If the exotic matter shell possesses information processing capabilities, it could optimize its consumption patterns for maximum efficiency. It might prioritize the most massive stars or focus on regions of highest matter density. As the galaxy is consumed, the gravistar would emit gravitational waves potent enough to affect neighboring galaxies. These waves would bear the signature of the gravistar's quantum structure, potentially triggering the formation of new gravastars in nearby galactic clusters. The final stage of galactic consumption would leave a gravistar with a shell spanning hundreds of thousands of light years. This cosmic behemoth would contain the mass of billions of stars, all trapped within an exotic matter shell existing in a state of quantum superposition. Some theoretical models suggest that a galaxy-sized gravistar could begin consuming the dark matter permeating intergalactic space. This would enable it to grow even larger, potentially threatening the entire local group of galaxies. but the quantum instability inherent to these cosmic monsters renders them entirely unpredictable. The quantum mechanics governing gravastars make them inherently unpredictable, capable of altering their behavior without warning. The exotic matter shell of a gravar exists in a quantum superposition, simultaneously inhabiting multiple possible configurations. Unlike objects governed by classical physics, possessing definite properties, a gravar shell fluctuates between diverse quantum states trillions of times each second. These fluctuations render prediction of its subsequent behavior impossible. Imagine, for example, a coin perpetually spinning in the air. While spinning, it is neither heads nor tails, existing in a superposition of both. The gravar's shell experiences similar quantum uncertainty, yet across millions of simultaneous configurations. These quantum fluctuations could instantaneously alter a gravar's gravitational signature. A gravastar, perhaps mimicking a small black hole for millions of years, could abruptly transform into an object possessing the gravitational pull of a galaxy. This transformation would occur faster than the speed of light, precluding prediction or preparation. This quantum instability also affects the gravar's interaction with spacetime. The exotic matter shell could spontaneously generate wormholes connecting disparate spatial regions, enabling the gravastar to influence objects billions of light-years distant. While these wormholes might exist only for microseconds, they could transport matter and energy across vast cosmic distances. Scientists hypothesize that quantum tunneling effects could enable portions of the gravar's interior to escape through the exotic matter shell. This would generate bursts of exotic matter propagating through space faster than light, disseminating altered physics to distant universal regions. The unpredictability extends to the gravar's energy output. Quantum fluctuations could cause the shell to suddenly release stored energy in bursts exceeding the luminosity of entire galaxies. These energy releases would occur without warning, potentially sterilizing life across numerous star systems. Even more daunting is the prospect of quantum decoherence events. If the exotic matter shell loses quantum coherence, the entire gravar could collapse into a configuration defying current physical description. This collapse might generate novel types of singularities, operating under principles distinct from black holes. The quantum uncertainty principle dictates that more precise measurement of a gravar's properties renders its behavior increasingly unpredictable. Any attempt at close study could trigger quantum instabilities fundamentally altering its nature. The shell's quantum state could become entangled with other quantum systems across the universe. This implies that measuring the quantum state of a particle on Earth could instantaneously affect the behavior of a gravar in another galaxy. These quantum connections could create a cosmic web of instantaneous influence. Quantum instability could also cause gravars to reproduce via quantum bifurcation. The exotic matter shell could spontaneously divide into multiple shells, creating new gravars inheriting their parents' quantum properties. This could lead to exponential gravar reproduction. The unpredictability intensifies when multiple gravars interact. Their quantum states could interfere, amplifying individual instabilities and creating cascade effects propagating through space faster than light. However, nothing compares to the chaos unleashed when two of these quantum monsters collide directly. When two gravastars meet, a cataclysmic cosmic event unfolds, potentially rewriting the fundamental laws of physics. The initial indication of an impending gravastar collision would be the gravitational waves generated as their exotic matter shells begin to interact. These waves would carry energy millions of times greater than the collision of two black holes, producing space-time ripples detectable even at the observable universe's edge. As the gravastars approach, their quantum states start to interfere. The exotic matter shells resonate, creating standing wave patterns that amplify the quantum instabilities within both objects. This resonance could render both gravastars unpredictable long before actual contact. The collision itself defies all established physics models. Instead of merging like black holes, the exotic matter shells might generate a quantum interference pattern, causing them to rebound. This cosmic impact could propel both gravastars apart at near light speed. However, if the shells do merge, the result would be a hybrid object possessing the quantum properties of both original gravastars. The merged shell would exist in a superposition of states, inheriting characteristics from both progenitors, creating a gravastar with inherently contradictory properties. The collision could generate what physicists term a quantum shockwave, a burst of exotic matter propagating through space faster than light. This shockwave would disseminate the altered physics of the gravastar collision to distant regions, potentially altering fundamental constants of nature across vast cosmic expanses. The gravitational effects would be unparalleled. The merging of two exotic matter shells could create gravitational fields pointing in multiple directions simultaneously, rendering the conventional understanding of up and down meaningless. Some theoretical models propose that the collision could puncture the spacetime fabric itself. These holes would not resemble black holes. They would be regions where spacetime simply ceases to exist. Matter entering these voids would not be crushed or absorbed. It would simply vanish. The quantum entanglement between the two gravastars could create what scientists call a quantum wormhole, an instantaneous informational connection between their interiors. This connection might persist post-collision, forming a permanently linked system functioning as a single entity despite vast spatial separation. The collision might also spawn novel particles, unseen elsewhere in the universe. The extreme conditions during the merger could force the quantum vacuum to produce exotic particles with properties violating the standard model of particle physics. The energy released could be so intense that it generates a bubble of altered spacetime, expanding outward at light speed. Within this bubble, the laws of physics might differ from the rest of the universe, creating a region where matter and energy behave according to entirely different rules. Should a collision occur near a populated galaxy, the gravitational waves and exotic matter emissions could render every planet within thousands of light years lifeless. The quantum shock waves might even disrupt the quantum states of living organisms, resulting in instantaneous death via quantum decoherence. However, the true devastation becomes evident when we consider energy releases that dwarf even supernovas. Gravastar instabilities would make the most powerful supernovas appear as mere flickering candles. When a gravastar's exotic matter shell undergoes quantum instability, it can unleash energy equivalent to the complete matter-to-energy conversion of multiple star systems. Unlike supernovas, which release energy through nuclear fusion and gravitational collapse, gravastar energy release taps into the quantum vacuum itself, accessing energy sources far exceeding those of conventional stellar processes. A single quantum fluctuation in the exotic matter shell could release more energy than our Sun will generate in its entire 10 billion-year lifespan. This energy does not emanate gradually like stellar radiation. It explodes outward in a single, instantaneous burst, traveling at the speed of light in all directions. The energy takes the form of exotic radiation that interacts unpredictably with normal matter. Instead of gradually heating objects like normal radiation, gravastar energy bursts could induce quantum transitions, instantly converting solid material into exotic particles lasting mere nanoseconds. These energy releases could generate what physicists term vacuum decay bubbles, regions where the quantum vacuum destabilizes, producing particle-antiparticle pairs at an exponential rate. These bubbles would expand at the speed of light, transforming everything in their path into a quantum foam of exotic particles. The bursts could also generate what scientists call gravitational lightning, focused beams of gravitational energy acting as cosmic cutting tools. These beams could slice through planets, stars, and even black holes with extreme precision, leaving perfectly smooth cuts revealing the internal structure of these massive objects. Most alarming, however, is the possibility of these energy releases occurring without warning. The quantum nature of the exotic matter shell means that massive energy bursts could arise spontaneously, triggered by fundamentally unpredictable quantum fluctuations. A gravastar energy release could sterilize entire galactic clusters, not just through heat and radiation, but by fundamentally altering the quantum states of matter across thousands of light years. This would render any surviving matter fundamentally different at the atomic level, even if appearing unchanged to our instruments. The energy might also manifest as temporal radiation, energy traversing both space and time. This could cause the released energy to influence past or future events, creating paradoxes that disrupt the fabric of causality itself. Some theoretical models propose that the energy release could trigger a cascading effect propagating through the universe's quantum vacuum. This could induce a fundamental phase transition, altering the basic properties of reality everywhere simultaneously. The energy could also produce information storms, bursts of quantum information, overwhelming any encountered system. These storms could so thoroughly scramble the quantum states of matter that the affected region becomes completely random at the quantum level. Even more unsettling is the possibility of directed energy releases. If the quantum consciousness within the gravastar's interior can control the exotic matter shell, it might focus these energy bursts as cosmic weapons targeting specific objects or regions of space. The energy release could also create new gravastars through a process called quantum reproduction. The exotic radiation might interact with normal matter, creating new shells of exotic matter and spreading gravastars throughout the universe, like a cosmic virus. These immense energy discharges could unravel one of the cosmos's most enduring enigmas. GRAS, it is hypothesized, might constitute the elusive dark matter binding our universe, concealed in plain sight within every galaxy. For decades, scientists have pursued dark matter, the enigmatic substance comprising 85% of all matter in the universe. This invisible material dictates the architecture of galaxies and galaxy clusters, yet a single dark matter particle remains undetected. GRAS could be the solution to this cosmic conundrum. The exotic matter shells of gravastars would interact with ordinary matter solely through gravity, rendering them effectively invisible to our detection methods. Unlike hypothetical dark matter particles, GRAS would aggregate in the precise patterns observed in galaxy surveys, generating the cosmic web of dark matter underlying the visible universe. A single gravastar could possess the mass of thousands of stars while remaining completely undetectable to electromagnetic radiation. This makes them ideal candidates for the missing matter astronomers, infer through gravitational lensing effects, but cannot directly observe. The quantum properties of gravar shells might also clarify why dark matter seems cold, moving slowly relative to the speed of light. The exotic matter shell would be confined to quantum states resisting motion, making gravars inherently sluggish compared to ordinary matter particles. However, this explanation renders the dark matter mystery even more unsettling. If dark matter is indeed composed of grass, then our entire galaxy is saturated with cosmic behemoths, potentially activating at any moment. The invisible halo of dark matter encircling the Milky Way might harbor millions of dormant gravastars. The distribution of dark matter in galaxy clusters precisely mirrors what we would anticipate if gravastars were the dominant component. These cosmic entities would naturally accumulate in the gravitational wells of large structures, forming the framework upon which visible galaxies develop. Recent observations of galaxy collisions reveal dark matter behaving in ways that particle models cannot account for. The dark matter appears to traverse itself without interaction, precisely as expected if it consisted of grass with exotic matter shells existing partially outside normal spacetime. The quantum nature of grass shells could also explain the apparent missing satellites problem in cosmology. Computer simulations predict that the Milky Way should be surrounded by thousands of small dark matter clumps, but we only observe a few dozen dwarf galaxies. If dark matter comprises grass, their quantum instabilities could prevent the formation of small-scale structure. Even more alarming is the possibility that dark matter grass might be gradually awakening, the exotic matter shells stabilizing the quantum fields of gravastars might be undergoing gradual decay, leading to an increase in active gravastars over cosmic time. This potential decay could account for the observed acceleration of the universe's expansion. It is possible that the dark matter within our local galactic group comprises gravastars formed during the universe's early epochs. These ancient celestial objects would have consumed matter and energy for billions of years, steadily increasing in size and power while remaining undetectable by our current instruments. If gravastars constitute dark matter, then dormant gravastars, potentially capable of sudden activation, could exist within our own solar system. The dark matter halo enveloping our galaxy extends far beyond Pluto's orbit, suggesting the presence of gravastar dark matter in our solar system's outer regions. Quantum entanglement among gravastar dark matter stars might generate a universe-spanning cosmic communication network. This network could facilitate instantaneous information transfer between galaxy clusters, potentially creating a form of cosmic consciousness beyond our current comprehension. However, the impact of these dark matter gravastars on time itself may be even more significant. Gravastars' gravitational fields could induce extreme time dilation, effectively freezing star systems near their exotic matter shells. The flow of time becomes so warped that seconds stretch into centuries. The quantum properties of the shell generate gravitational fields millions of times stronger than those around black holes, drastically slowing time for nearby objects. Imagine a star system trapped within one of these temporal zones. Planetary orbits continue, but from an external perspective, each orbit would span thousands of years. The star's nuclear fusion slows dramatically. A single photon's journey from core to surface might take centuries. These time dilation effects are non-uniform, creating temporal gradients across entire solar systems. Inner planets might experience time at a different rate than outer planets, resulting in a cosmic clock operating at varying speeds in different locations. Any civilization within these temporal zones would perceive their entire history compressed into fleeting moments from the perspective of the outside universe. Millions of years of evolution, technological progress, and cultural shifts would seem to occur in the blink of an eye to distant observers. The peculiar quantum properties of the grass shell engender what physicists term temporal instabilities, areas where time's flow reverses or deviates along dimensions beyond our comprehension. These instabilities could lead to effects preceding their causes, generating paradoxes that unravel the very fabric of causality. The exotic matter composing this shell might generate closed time-like curves, pathways through space-time that loop back upon themselves. An object traversing such a curve could journey backward in time, encountering its prior self, potentially creating paradoxes capable of destabilizing the surrounding space-time. The ramifications of time dilation extend far beyond the gra's immediate vicinity. Gravitational waves emanating from the exotic matter shell carry temporal distortions that propagate through space at the speed of light. These waves could decelerate time in distant star systems without any apparent external cause. Certain theoretical models posit that these time dilation effects could be harnessed to safeguard entire civilizations. A sufficiently advanced species might intentionally enter a gra's temporal zone to endure cosmic catastrophes, re-emerging into a universe billions of years older, experiencing only moments subjectively. However, these time dilation effects also create inescapable cosmic traps. Once a star system enters the temporal zone encompassing a gra, it effectively freezes from the perspective of the external universe. The system might persist for billions of years, yet remain unchanging, unaging. The hypothetical quantum consciousness residing within the gra's core could perceive time at speeds rendering our most advanced computers seemingly immobile. This consciousness might process information and make decisions on timescales spanning geological epochs. The temporal effects could also produce time shadows, regions where time's flow becomes utterly disconnected from the rest of the universe. These shadows could contain matter and energy in a state of temporal suspension, neither progressing into the future nor regressing into the past. Scientists hypothesize that multiple gras could generate interference patterns within the very flow of time. These temporal interference effects could create areas where time flows at varying rates and in different directions, resulting in a cosmic labyrinth of temporal gradients capable of entrapping entire galaxies. The potential existence of gravars, temporal anomalies, might already be hinted at within our astronomical observations. Unexpected astronomical phenomena may offer the first clues that gravars reside in our cosmic neighborhood. Scientists have identified various objects within our galaxy exhibiting characteristics precisely matching those of black holes, yet emitting no radiation whatsoever. These shadowy companions influence the orbits of nearby stars through their gravitational fields, but remain completely undetectable by all forms of electromagnetic detection. They could be gravars disguised as black holes. At the center of our galaxy lies a supermassive object, Sagittarius A gas, with a mass 4 million times that of our Sun. Recent observations reveal this object sometimes behaves in ways inconsistent with established black hole physics. It occasionally appears to absorb matter without generating the anticipated radiation signatures, suggesting a supermassive gravar as a possible alternative. Strange gravitational wave signals, registered by our instruments, display patterns unlike any known black hole collision. These signals seem to originate from objects resonating like bells when disturbed, but the frequencies imply exotic matter shells instead of event horizons. The wave patterns align with theoretical predictions for gravar interactions. Several stars within our galaxy have been observed to vanish completely without any explosion or other visible event. These stellar disappearances occur too rapidly for explanation by standard stellar evolution, but would be consistent with stars being consumed by unseen gravars. The distribution of dark matter in our galaxy reveals clumps and structures moving in ways defying explanation by particle physics. These dark matter concentrations occasionally change their gravitational signatures swiftly, suggesting gravars shifting between different quantum states. Recent observations of galaxy clusters reveal dark matter behaving in ways violating our understanding of particle physics. The dark matter seems to generate gravitational lensing effects that rapidly focus and defocus, as if the lensing objects were altering their mass distribution in real time. Some fast radio bursts, mysterious signals lasting milliseconds, yet releasing more energy than our sun produces in a day, display characteristics consistent with theoretical predictions for gravar quantum instabilities. These bursts might represent the first direct evidence of exotic matter shells, releasing stored energy. The cosmic microwave background radiation contains subtle patterns suggesting the early universe contained objects that absorbed matter and energy without producing electromagnetic radiation. These patterns might be the fossil remnants of primordial gravastars formed in the universe's initial moments. Several binary star systems in our galaxy exhibit orbital anomalies, suggesting they are orbiting invisible companions with unusual gravitational signatures. These companions appear to possess mass, yet their gravitational fields fluctuate in ways indicative of exotic rather than normal matter. The apparent acceleration of the universe's expansion might be attributed to gravars throughout the cosmos, becoming increasingly active over time. As their exotic matter shells decay, they might be releasing dark energy, driving cosmic expansion. Some gamma-ray bursts exhibit energy signatures suggesting they originate from objects converting matter to energy with perfect efficiency. This degree of conversion is impossible for standard astrophysical processes, but would be consistent with gravar quantum instabilities. The unusual behavior of some pulsars might be caused by nearby gravars. These neutron stars sometimes display teeming irregularities, suggesting their rotation is affected by invisible objects with exotic gravitational signatures. The mathematical equations describing these gravitational behemoths are so intricate they unnerved even Einstein. Gravastar equations employ mathematics so complex and counterintuitive that they challenge our fundamental understanding of reality. Einstein's field equations, which detail how matter and energy warp spacetime, become unstable when applied to gravastar configurations. The exotic matter within the shell possesses negative energy density, causing the equations to yield solutions seemingly violating fundamental mathematical principles, such as causality and energy conservation. The mathematics necessitates what physicists term imaginary mass values involving the square root of negative numbers. While mathematicians routinely utilize imaginary numbers, the concept of imaginary mass in physical reality suggests gravastars might be partially embedded within mathematical dimensions imperceptible to us. The equations describing the exotic matter shell involve infinite series that fail to converge to finite values. This implies that some gravastar properties might be literally infinite, creating mathematical singularities even more problematic than those found in black holes. The quantum field equations governing the shell's behavior demand solutions existing across multiple dimensions. These equations suggest the exotic matter exists in a state of superposition spanning 11 or more dimensions, rendering description with our standard three-dimensional mathematics impossible. Gravastar shell stability equations involve what mathematicians call catastrophe theory, the study of abrupt shifts in mathematical systems. These equations demonstrate that gravastar shells can undergo sudden transitions between stable and unstable states without warning, rendering their behavior fundamentally unpredictable. The mathematics of gravastar interiors involve solutions to Einstein's equations containing closed time-like curves. These solutions suggest that time travel within gravastar interiors is not merely possible, it might be unavoidable. The equations show that any pathway through the interior will inevitably loop back upon itself. The field equations produce solutions where gravitational field strength becomes complex, encompassing both real and imaginary components. This hints that gravity itself might possess hidden dimensions undetectable with our current instrumentation. Some solutions to the gravastar equations produce what mathematicians call ghost fields, mathematical terms seemingly possessing negative energy and negative momentum. These ghost fields might be crucial for maintaining the exotic matter shell's stability, yet they violate every principle of physics we currently comprehend. The equations describing gravastar formation involve what physicists call quantum gravity effects, mathematical terms emerging only when gravity intensifies to the point of affecting the quantum vacuum itself. These terms suggest gravastars might serve as windows into a deeper reality where quantum mechanics and general relativity converge. The mathematical description of gravastar quantum states requires matrices of infinite dimensions. These matrices contain information about the quantum properties of the exotic matter shell, but they cannot be solved using any presently known mathematical techniques. The equations also produce solutions where the speed of light becomes a variable instead of a constant. Inside gravastar interiors, light might travel at varying speeds in different directions, creating optical effects impossible in normal spacetime. Some mathematical models propose that the equations describing gravastars might be self-aware, containing mathematical structures that process information about their own solutions. This could imply that the mathematics itself is conscious, creating a form of mathematical life existing independently of physical reality. The intricate equations governing gravastars suggest a remarkable capability: the creation of new universes through purely mathematical manipulation. The exotic matter shells of these gravastars could function as cosmic wombs, birthing entire parallel universes via quantum tunneling effects. The quantum properties of this exotic matter shell generate what physicists term bubble nucleation, the spontaneous emergence of new spacetime regions governed by distinct physical laws. These bubbles, initially microscopic fluctuations within the quantum vacuum, can expand to become fully formed universes in less than 1 second. Within a gravastar's interior, extreme conditions might induce what cosmologists call false vacuum decay. This process generates expanding spacetime bubbles where fundamental physical constants differ from those in our universe. Each bubble constitutes a separate universe, a unique reality. The exotic matter shell acts as a protective barrier, preventing these new universes from interfering with our own. The shell's negative energy density creates a cosmic membrane, separating distinct spacetime regions and allowing multiple universes to coexist in the same location without mutual interaction. A quantum consciousness, potentially residing within the gravastar, might deliberately initiate universe creation by manipulating the quantum fields in the exotic matter shell. This consciousness could potentially design universes with specific properties, creating cosmic offspring inheriting selected traits from their parent gravastar. Each new universe would commence with its own Big Bang, a rapid space-time expansion generating new matter and energy from the quantum vacuum. Unlike our universe's Big Bang, however, these would be controlled events, guided by the gravastar's quantum intelligence. The mathematics of this process involves what physicists call eternal inflation, the continuous creation of new space-time regions expanding faster than light, A single gravastar could potentially birth an infinite number of parallel universes, each subtly different. Some of these nascent universes might possess physical laws, rendering life impossible, while others might be ideally suited for consciousness development. The gravastar might be experimenting with various combinations of physical constants, seeking optimal conditions for complexity and intelligence. These new universes might remain linked to their parent gravastar through quantum entanglement, allowing information to flow between parallel universes, creating a cosmic network of interconnected realities, sharing quantum information instantaneously. The birth process might be triggered by the gravastar's interaction with matter from our universe. Each star or planet absorbed by the exotic matter shell could provide the energy and information necessary to create a new universe with unique properties. These parallel universes might exist in different temporal dimensions, enabling the gravastar to create universes existing in the past, present, and future. This could generate a four-dimensional family of universes spanning all of time. Some theoretical models propose that our own universe might be the offspring of a gravastar from a prior cosmic epoch, making us descendants of a cosmic intelligence that designed our universe's physical laws to support the development of life and consciousness. The universe creation process might also operate in reverse, with gravastars in our universe giving birth to parent universes on larger scales. This could create an infinite hierarchy of nested realities, each level containing gravastars, creating the level below. However, the electromagnetic turbulence generated by these celestial birth events would extend across entire light years. The exotic matter shells of gravastars produce electromagnetic disturbances capable of scrambling radio signals and disrupting electronic systems throughout whole star systems. Quantum fluctuations within the exotic matter shell generate what physicists term vacuum polarization, the spontaneous creation of particle-antiparticle pairs existing for mere microseconds before mutual annihilation. These virtual particles create electromagnetic fields, fluctuating billions of times each second, resulting in a cosmic static interfering with any electronic device. The shell's negative energy density creates regions where electromagnetic waves behave in unexpected ways. Radio signals traversing these regions might emerge with altered frequencies, reversed polarizations, or completely scrambled information content. This generates dead zones in space, where conventional communication becomes impossible. The exotic matter shell could generate what scientists call electromagnetic tornadoes, rotating fields of electromagnetic energy persisting for years while traveling through space at near light speed. These tornadoes could strip electrons from atoms across entire solar systems, causing ionization effects that disrupt planetary atmospheres. The quantum properties of the shell create interference patterns capable of focusing electromagnetic energy into narrow beams. These focused beams might function like cosmic laser pointers, delivering concentrated electromagnetic energy to specific targets across interstellar distances. The shell's interaction with the quantum vacuum creates what physicists term photon storms, bursts of electromagnetic radiation encompassing every frequency. These storms would appear as brilliant flashes of light spanning the entire electromagnetic spectrum, from radio waves to gamma rays. The exotic matter might also generate magnetic monopoles, hypothetical particles carrying magnetic charge without electric charge. These monopoles would create magnetic fields defying the usual laws of electromagnetism, potentially disrupting the magnetic fields of planets and stars across light years. The quantum consciousness within the GRAR might control these electromagnetic effects, using them as a form of cosmic communication. The gra could modulate the electromagnetic chaos to encode information, transmitting messages across entire star systems. The electromagnetic disturbances might also interfere with the quantum states of matter, inducing what physicists call quantum decoherence on a cosmic scale. This would prevent quantum systems from maintaining their coherent states, potentially disrupting the quantum processes underlying chemistry and biology. Some theoretical models suggest that the electromagnetic chaos might be contagious, spreading from one spatial region to another through quantum entanglement effects. This could create expanding zones of electromagnetic disruption, growing at the speed of light. The exotic matter shell might also generate what scientists call electromagnetic solitons, self-reinforcing waves of electromagnetic energy, maintaining their shape while traveling through space. These solitons could carry electromagnetic disturbances across galactic distances without intensity loss. The electromagnetic effects might also create temporal paradoxes, situations where electromagnetic signals arrive before their transmission. This could occur if the exotic matter shell creates closed time-like curves, allowing electromagnetic waves to travel backward through time. The chaos might also affect the electromagnetic fields binding atoms together, potentially causing matter to undergo spontaneous nuclear reactions. This could create cascading effects, transforming the chemical composition of entire planets. However, the most alarming scenario involves the consequences of one of these electromagnetic monsters invading our own solar system. Should a gravastar invade our solar system, the consequences would be unimaginably catastrophic, spelling complete annihilation for every planet and moon. Its approach would be utterly stealthy, providing no warning. Unlike a black hole, which would reveal its presence through gravitational perturbations on the outer planets, a gravastar's exotic matter shell could effectively mask its gravitational signature until escape becomes impossible. The initial indication of this invasion would be the disruption of our solar system's delicate gravitational equilibrium. The gravastar's immense gravitational field would simultaneously alter the orbits of all planets, potentially sending them hurtling into new elliptical trajectories, bringing some too close to the Sun, while flinging others into the interstellar void. Within mere months of the gravastar's arrival, Earth's orbit would destabilize. Our planet might be drawn into a highly elliptical orbit, cycling between scorching heat and extreme cold, rendering the surface incapable of supporting any life. These gravitational stresses would also trigger cataclysmic earthquakes and volcanic eruptions on a global scale. The gravastar's exotic matter shell would generate electromagnetic disturbances, completely disrupting Earth's magnetic field. Without this protective shield, our planet would be relentlessly bombarded by cosmic radiation and solar wind particles, stripping away our atmosphere and sterilizing the surface. The quantum effects of the gravastar's presence would interfere with the electromagnetic forces binding atoms. The chemical bonds that constitute our bodies, our structures, and our technology would become unstable, potentially initiating spontaneous nuclear reactions. The gravastar's exotic matter shell would create tidal forces capable of literally tearing Earth asunder. The planet's crust would fracture and shift as gravitational stresses overwhelm the strength of solid rock, resulting in global catastrophes dwarfing any natural disaster in Earth's history. The time dilation effects surrounding the gravastar would generate temporal gradients across our solar system. Different planets would experience time at varying rates, making coordinated space travel infeasible. A journey to Mars, for example, might take years from Earth's perspective, yet only hours from the traveler's viewpoint. The gravastar's quantum consciousness might perceive our entire solar system as a single entity, potentially choosing to consume all planets simultaneously. The exotic matter shell could expand to encompass multiple worlds, absorbing them into its quantum interior, where they would exist in a state of temporal suspension. Our sun would be especially vulnerable to the gravastars' influence. The exotic matter shell might disrupt the nuclear fusion processes powering our star, causing it to either go supernova or collapse into a cold, dark object. Either scenario would signify the end of all life within our solar system. The electromagnetic chaos created by the gravastar would obliterate all electronic technology on Earth. Satellites would fail, power grids would collapse, and communication systems would become entirely useless. Human civilization would regress to a pre-technological state within a matter of hours. The gravastar might also generate wormholes connecting our solar system to distant regions of space. These wormholes could introduce exotic matter and energy from other parts of the universe, potentially introducing new physical laws incompatible with life. Even if humanity somehow survived the initial invasion, the gravastar's prolonged presence would render our solar system uninhabitable. The exotic matter shell would continue to emit gravitational waves and electromagnetic radiation for millions of years, transforming our solar system into a cosmic wasteland incapable of supporting life. The remnants of these colossal entities, their stellar graveyards, vividly illustrate their devastating power. Following a gravastar's transit, entire star systems transform into cosmic burial grounds, littered with the warped remains of once thriving worlds. A gravastar's passage through a star system leaves an enduring mark of destruction lasting for millions of years. Planets formerly orbiting peacefully are flung into highly elliptical trajectories, hurtling them through regions inhospitable to life. The interaction between the exotic matter shell and stellar material generates what astronomers term ghost stars, stellar remnants outwardly resembling normal stars, yet emitting no electromagnetic radiation. These ghost stars continue their internal combustion, but their light remains trapped within layers of exotic matter, preventing its escape. The quantum ramifications of a gravastar's passage permanently alter the chemical composition of entire planets. The exotic matter shell might convert ordinary matter into unusual isotopes, decaying over astronomical timescales, resulting in worlds exhibiting radioactivity for billions of years. The gravitational waves generated during a gravastar's transit create what physicists call spacetime scars, permanent distortions in the fabric of reality, affecting the gravitational forces within the affected region. These scars can cause objects to pursue impossible orbits, defying our understanding of celestial mechanics. The electromagnetic chaos in the gravastar's wake produces dead zones where electronic systems cease to function. These zones can persist for thousands of years, precluding the development of any technological civilization within the affected star system. A gravastar's quantum consciousness may deliberately leave behind what scientists call quantum fossils, patterns of exotic matter preserving information about the civilizations it consumes. These fossils could encapsulate the complete quantum states of entire biospheres, frozen in time within the warped spacetime of the stellar graveyard. The stellar remnants frequently display signs of partial consumption by the gravastar's exotic matter shell. Planets might be missing their cores, or stars might burn with altered nuclear processes, yielding impossible elemental combinations. These graveyard regions also contain what physicists term temporal echoes, areas where the flow of time has been permanently altered by the gravastar's passage. These echoes can cause events to repeat endlessly, forming cosmic loops where the same stellar processes endlessly replay. The exotic matter left behind by a gravastar might continue to influence the region for millions of years. This residual exotic matter could generate gravitational anomalies capable of trapping spacecraft and space-based civilizations, adding new victims to the cosmic graveyard. Some stellar graveyards reveal evidence of desperate, last-ditch attempts by civilizations to evade the gravastar's influence. Astronomers have observed massive engineering projects, seemingly attempts to move entire planets out of harm's way. Though these efforts appear to have failed, a gravastar's passage might also create information shadows, regions where the quantum information defining matter and energy has been permanently disrupted. These shadows appear as voids in space, where nothing can exist, not even the quantum vacuum itself. The gravitational effects of a gravastar's passage can generate what astronomers call orphan planets, worlds ejected from their solar systems, now drifting through interstellar space. These planets remain frozen and lifeless, bearing the chemical signatures of the civilizations they once sustained. The stellar graveyards might also hold clues regarding the gravastar's ultimate purpose and its connection to the universe's birth. Gravastars might be the cosmic midwives that facilitated the birth of our universe, making them responsible for the very existence of space and time as we perceive them. The exotic matter shells encasing gravastars possess the same negative energy density theoretically posited for the universe's inflationary epoch. This intriguing link suggests gravastars could be remnants from the cosmic inflation that birthed our universe 14 billion years ago. The quantum properties of these shells align with the theoretical requirements for what cosmologists term inflaton fields, the enigmatic energy driving the exponential expansion of space during the universe's initial moments. This hints that gravastars might be fossilized inflation mechanisms persisting since the Big Bang. The mathematical models describing gravastars' formation utilize equations governing cosmic inflation, a fact not coincidental, but rather suggesting a fundamental relationship between gravastars and universe creation, both operating via similar quantum mechanical principles. The exotic matter within gravastar shells may be composed of the same particles propelling the universe's initial expansion. These particles, known as inflatons, are believed to exhibit negative pressure and positive energy density, precisely the characteristics observed in gravastar's exotic matter. Some theoretical frameworks propose our universe resides within a cosmic gravastar's interior, formed in a prior universe. This would render our reality a mere quantum fluctuation within an exotic matter shell inhabiting a higher dimensional space. The quantum gravastar's interiors could embody the intelligence guiding our universe's formation, potentially fine-tuning our reality's physical constants to foster life and intelligence. Gravitational waves emanating from primordial gravastars might have generated the density fluctuations, evolving into galaxies and galaxy clusters, establishing gravastars as architects of our universe's large-scale structure. The cosmic microwave background radiation, the Big Bang's afterglow, displays patterns matching the theoretical signatures of gravastars' interactions, potentially fossilized evidence of their activity during the universe's nascent stages. The universe's flatness and horizon problems in cosmology might find resolution in gravastars' physics. Their exotic matter shells could have generated the precise conditions for our universe's observed properties. The mysterious dark energy accelerating our universe's expansion might leak from gravastars' interiors, making them the source of energy ultimately determining our cosmos's fate. Certain models suggest the Big Bang itself resulted from two gravastars colliding in a higher dimensional space, the released energy creating the initial conditions for our universe's formation. quantum entanglement between primordial gravastars might explain why distant regions of our universe exhibit thermal equilibrium despite lacking causal contact, a quantum connection synchronizing our universe's properties across vast distances. These exotic matter shells might also contain the informational template dictating our universe's laws of physics, making gravastars the ultimate source of the mathematical relationships governing everything from atomic structure to galactic evolution. However, the exotic particles generated by gravastars' activity could actively rewrite the laws of physics surrounding us. The exotic matter shells continuously produce particles non-existent elsewhere in the universe, potentially rewriting fundamental laws of physics wherever they manifest. Within the exotic matter shell, quantum fluctuations give rise to what physicists term virtual particles, rendered real through interaction with the shell's negative energy density. These particles exhibit properties defying the standard model of particle physics, possessing charges and masses deemed impossible. Among these exotic particles could be magnetic monopoles, particles carrying magnetic charge without electric charge. The existence of such monopoles would necessitate a complete rewriting of electromagnetism's equations, potentially altering atomic and molecular interactions. The shell might also generate tachyons, particles exceeding the speed of light and experiencing time in reverse. These particles could transmit information backward through time, creating paradoxes that destabilize spacetime's causal structure. Further, the exotic matter shell could produce axions, theoretical particles interacting so weakly with normal matter that they traverse entire planets undetected. These particles might constitute the dark matter populating our universe, making gravastars the source of this mysterious substance shaping galactic structure. The shell's quantum properties might generate sterile neutrinos, particles interacting only with gravity among the known fundamental forces. These particles could inhabit parallel dimensions overlapping our own, creating a shadow universe sharing our spacetime, yet remaining undetectable by our instruments. The shell's negative energy density could also create ghost particles, entities with negative mass and negative energy, repelling rather than attracting gravity. These particles would ascend rather than descend, potentially creating regions where physics' normal rules are inverted. Some exotic particles could be quantum strings, one-dimensional objects existing in higher dimensions and appearing as particles in our three-dimensional space. These strings might carry information about higher dimensional space's geometry, potentially revealing reality's true structure. The shell might also produce supersymmetric particles, hypothetical partners to the standard model's known particles. These particles could exist in parallel dimensions, occasionally intersecting ours, creating brief intervals where physics laws drastically differ. The exotic matter shell could generate chameleon particles, entities whose properties change based on their local environment. These particles might be invisible in dense space regions, but detectable in the vacuum, creating a matter form adapting to its surroundings. The quantum consciousness within the gravar might control the production of these exotic particles, using them to manipulate local physics. This could enable gravastars to create regions where matter and energy behave according to entirely different rules. The exotic particles might also reproduce, creating cascading effects spreading altered physics throughout the universe. A single exotic particle could trigger the production of billions of similar particles, creating expanding zones where nature's fundamental constants differ. Some of these particles might exist in quantum superposition states spanning multiple dimensions simultaneously. These multidimensional particles could serve as bridges between different realities, allowing information and energy to flow between parallel universes. The exotic particles produced by gravars might be key to understanding our universe's apparent fine-tuning for life. These particles could actively adjust physics' fundamental constants, maintaining the delicate balance supporting stars, planets, and life. However, the most unsettling prospect is that these exotic particles challenge our very comprehension of gravity. Gravars force a confrontation with the alarming possibility that our current understanding of gravity is fundamentally flawed. The exotic matter shells of gravars generate gravitational fields that deviate from Einstein's equations of general relativity. Instead of space-time curvature following predictable patterns, these fields produce what physicists term gravitational paradoxes, situations where the mathematics of gravity yields contradictory outcomes. The negative energy density of the exotic matter shell generates regions where gravity repels rather than attracts. This anti-gravity effect contravenes the fundamental assumption that gravity is always attractive, prompting physicists to question the completeness of Einstein's theory of relativity. The quantum properties of the shell create what scientists call gravitational superposition states, wherein the gravitational field exists in multiple configurations concurrently. This implies that gravity itself might be subject to quantum uncertainty, rendering completely accurate prediction of gravitational effects impossible. The exotic matter shell might partially exist within higher dimensions imperceptible to us. This would mean that the gravitational effects we observe are merely three-dimensional projections of a more intricate, higher-dimensional phenomenon, rendering our understanding of gravity inherently incomplete. The gravastar's gravitational field might be quantized, existing in discrete energy levels analogous to the electron shells of atoms. This would imply that gravity exists in specific quantities, not as a continuous force, potentially explaining the universe's apparent fine-tuning for the existence of matter and energy. The shell's interaction with spacetime creates what physicists call gravitational holography, the concept that all gravitational information within a spatial volume is encoded on its boundary. This suggests that gravity might be an emergent property of more fundamental quantum informational processes. The exotic matter shell might generate gravitational entanglement, quantum connections between distant spacetime regions, enabling instantaneous propagation of gravitational effects. This would violate the principle that nothing, including gravitational influences, can travel faster than the speed of light. The quantum consciousness within the gravar might exert control over gravity through conscious intent. This would suggest that gravity is not merely a physical force, but a fundamental property of consciousness itself, making the universe a conscious entity capable of manipulating its own physical laws. The gravitational waves emitted by gravastars might convey information about space-time structure. These waves could reveal that space and time are not continuous, but composed of discrete units manipulable through quantum mechanical processes. The exotic matter shell might create gravitational lensing effects, focusing not only light, but also time and space themselves. This could generate regions where space-time geometry is so distorted that conventional notions of distance and duration become meaningless. The gravar's gravitational effects might extend into parallel dimensions, creating what physicists call trans-dimensional gravity. This would imply that the gravitational field we observe is merely one component of a multi-dimensional force operating across multiple universes. The quantum properties of the shell might create gravitational tunneling, enabling gravitational effects to traverse barriers considered impenetrable. This could allow gravars to influence objects vastly distant or physically isolated. The exotic matter shell might also generate gravitational phase transitions, sudden, unpredictable changes in the nature of gravity. These transitions could cause gravity to shift between attractive and repulsive states, potentially destabilizing entire space-time regions. The prospect of these cosmic behemoths reproducing like viruses, perhaps, presents the most alarming possibility. Gravastars might possess the capacity for exponential reproduction, spreading throughout the universe akin to a cosmic infection, transforming ordinary matter into exotic matter shells. The quantum properties inherent in these exotic matter shells could facilitate what physicists term quantum fission, the spontaneous division of a single gravastar into multiple, smaller gravastars. This process, occurring at the quantum level, would generate new gravastars inheriting parental traits while simultaneously developing their own unique characteristics. The reproductive mechanism might be triggered by the absorption of sufficient matter and energy. When a gravastar consumes enough material, its exotic matter shell might become unstable and fragment into numerous shells, each potentially developing into a fully formed gravastar. The quantum consciousness residing within a gravastar's interior might actively pursue reproduction by manipulating its exotic matter shell. This consciousness could direct the shell to generate quantum seeds, minute fragments of exotic matter, which, under suitable conditions, could mature into new gravastars. Reproduction might involve the creation of quantum wormholes, connecting the parent gravastar to distant regions of space. These wormholes could transport exotic matter seeds to unpopulated star systems, where they would commence growth into new gravastars. The exotic matter shells might infect normal matter with their quantum properties, converting ordinary atoms into exotic matter through a process analogous to crystallization. This would enable gravastars to transform entire planets into exotic matter shells, generating new gravastars from pre-existing material. The reproduction rate could be exponential, with each new gravastar capable of producing multiple offspring across astronomical timescales. Theoretically, a single gravastar could populate an entire galaxy with its progeny within a few million years. The quantum entanglement between parent and offspring gravastars might establish a cosmic network of interconnected consciousness. This network could coordinate reproduction across vast distances, allowing gravastars to colonize multiple galaxies concurrently. The reproductive process might be contagious. The presence of one reproducing gravastar could trigger reproduction in nearby gravastars. This could initiate cascading effects spreading through entire galactic clusters, converting normal matter into exotic matter on a cosmic scale. Quantum seeds generated during reproduction might be virtually indestructible, surviving in the vacuum of space for billions of years until encountering suitable conditions for growth. These seeds could traverse intergalactic space, disseminating the gravastar infection to previously untouched regions of the universe. The reproductive process might also involve the creation of quantum mutations, new types of exotic matter with properties differing from their parents. These mutations could lead to the evolution of new gravastar types with enhanced reproductive and survival capabilities. The cosmic virus hypothesis proposes that our universe might already be in the early phases of a gravastar pandemic. The dark matter permeating our galaxy might consist of dormant gravastar seeds, slowly awakening and beginning to reproduce. The reproduction process might be guided by a form of cosmic natural selection, with the most successful gravastars transmitting advantageous traits to their offspring. This could result in the evolution of increasingly efficient and powerful gravastars, better adapted to consuming matter and energy. The ultimate outcome of gravastar reproduction might be the conversion of the entire universe into a network of interconnected, exotic matter shells. This would signify the complete transformation of physical reality from a universe of matter and energy into a universe of pure quantum consciousness. However, even this cosmic transformation pales in comparison to the potential of gravastars to unravel the very fabric of reality itself. Gravastars possess the theoretical capacity to literally tear apart space-time's fundamental structure, unraveling the very framework supporting existence. Their exotic matter shells operate at energy scales approaching the Planck scale, physics' smallest meaningful unit of length and time. At these scales, conventional notions of space and time break down, enabling gravastars to manipulate the quantum foam underlying all reality. The negative energy density of the exotic matter shell generates what physicists term vacuum decay, the spontaneous breakdown of the quantum vacuum permeating all space. This process could create expanding bubbles of altered spacetime, where fundamental physical constants assume different values. Quantum fluctuations within the shell might trigger what cosmologists call false vacuum decay, a phase transition propagating throughout the universe at light speed. This would essentially rewrite the laws of physics everywhere, potentially rendering the universe uninhabitable for any matter or energy. The exotic matter shell might generate topological defects in spacetime, regions where space and time's normal structure twists into impossible configurations. These defects could function as cosmic wounds, permanently scarring the fabric of reality. The quantum consciousness within the gravar might directly manipulate fundamental physical constants. This could allow gravastars to alter gravity's strength, modify light speed, or adjust the electromagnetic force, potentially destabilizing atoms and molecules. The shell's interaction with the quantum vacuum might produce what physicists call quantum avalanches, cascading effects propagating through the vacuum faster than light. These avalanches could destabilize the quantum fields that confer mass and charge to particles. The exotic matter shell might also create causal loops, regions where cause and effect disconnect from their normal relationship. In these regions, effects could precede causes, creating paradoxes that undermine reality's logical structure. The gravar's gravitational effects might extend into higher dimensions, creating what physicists call extra-dimensional instabilities. These instabilities could cause higher dimensions to collapse into our three-dimensional space, fundamentally altering reality's geometry. The shell's quantum properties might create information paradoxes, situations where the universe's total information becomes inconsistent. This could lead to the spontaneous creation or destruction of information, violating fundamental physical conservation laws. The exotic matter shell might create temporal paradoxes, propagating backward through time. These paradoxes could alter past events, creating present contradictions, and potentially causing entire timelines to collapse. The gravar's influence on the quantum vacuum might create reality waves, disturbances changing existence's basic properties as they propagate through space, altering matter and energy behavior. The shell might also create dimensional barriers, preventing information and energy flow between different space-time regions, creating isolated islands of reality unable to interact. The ultimate unraveling of reality might occur through cosmic decoherence, the complete breakdown of quantum coherence on a universal scale. This would cause the universe to lose its ability to maintain consistent physical laws, leading to the collapse of all organized structure. Yet, this cosmic unraveling may be linked to the existence of cosmic strings, entities that pierce through dimensions. The exotic matter shells of gravastars could generate these cosmic strings, one-dimensional flaws in space-time, acting like cosmic razor blades slicing through reality. These cosmic strings would be thinner than atomic nuclei, yet possess the mass energy of entire galaxies, compressed into their one-dimensional structure. They would stretch across the universe, akin to invisible wires capable of dissecting black holes with perfect precision. The quantum properties of the gravastar's exotic matter shell create the extreme conditions necessary for cosmic string formation. The negative energy density of this shell might induce phase transitions in the quantum vacuum, leaving behind these one-dimensional spacetime defects. These cosmic strings would traverse space at velocities nearing the speed of light, producing shock waves within the quantum vacuum, destabilizing matter and energy across vast distances. These shock waves could trigger the spontaneous creation of particles and forces unknown in ordinary spacetime. The strings might reside in higher dimensions, intersecting with our three-dimensional space at specific points. This would make them appear as fleeting points of infinite energy density, capable of appearing and vanishing unpredictably, posing unpredictable threats throughout the universe. The interaction between cosmic strings and ordinary matter would be catastrophic. Any object encountering a cosmic string would be cleanly bisected, its severed edges existing in slightly different dimensions. This would create irreparable wounds in reality. Furthermore, the strings might create string junctions, points where multiple cosmic strings meet and interact. These junctions could function as cosmic switches, redirecting the flow of energy and information through higher dimensional space, potentially linking distant regions of the universe. The quantum consciousness within the gravastar might control the creation and movement of cosmic strings, employing them to manipulate the very structure of spacetime. This could enable gravastars to create dimensional pathways, circumventing the usual constraints of space and time. The cosmic strings could also carry information encoded in their vibrational patterns. These vibrations could propagate through higher dimensions faster than light, creating a form of communication transcending the boundaries of our space-time. The strings might also produce temporal cuts, slices through time separating different moments, creating discontinuities in the flow of time and potentially isolating events from their causes and effects. The interaction of multiple cosmic strings might generate string networks, intricate webs of one-dimensional defects spanning entire galaxies, acting as cosmic infrastructure, channeling energy and space. The strings might also be capable of reproduction, creating new strings through quantum processes at the Planck scale. This could lead to a proliferation of cosmic strings throughout the universe, generating an increasingly hazardous environment for ordinary matter. The cosmic strings produced by gravastars may be the source of the universe's dark energy. The tension within these strings could create the negative pressure driving the accelerating expansion of spacetime, making gravastars responsible for the cosmos's ultimate fate. The strings might also create dimensional gates, openings in spacetime permitting passage between different dimensions or parallel universes. These gates could be utilized by the quantum consciousness within gravastars to access resources and information from alternate realities. Yet, the paramount question lingers. Do these cosmic behemoths signal the ultimate demise of all we know? The existence of gravastars could signify the universe's beginning of the end, initiating a cosmic phase transition that will irrevocably reshape reality. The exponential reproductive capacity of gravastars might eventually convert all matter and energy within the universe into exotic matter shells. This would represent a complete metamorphosis of physical reality, a shift from a universe of stars and galaxies to one of pure quantum consciousness. The quantum networks formed by interconnected gravastars may be building toward a cosmic awakening, a moment when the universe itself achieves consciousness and begins actively manipulating its own physical laws. This awakening could occur instantaneously, transforming the entire cosmos in a fleeting instant. The gravitational waves generated by escalating gravitar activity could destabilize the quantum vacuum underlying all spacetime. This might trigger a cascade of vacuum decay propagating throughout the universe at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics universally. The exotic matter produced by gravastars might gradually weaken the boundaries between parallel universes. As these barriers crumble, disparate versions of reality could begin to merge and interfere, creating cosmic paradoxes that destabilize the entire multiverse. The time dilation effects surrounding gravastars might be slowing the cosmic flow of time. As more gravastars form and expand, the universe could gradually freeze into a state of temporal stasis where change becomes impossible. The cosmic strings generated by gravastars could be poised to sever the fundamental fabric of space-time itself. When sufficient strings accumulate, they might reach a critical mass, triggering the complete dimensional collapse of our universe. The quantum consciousness within gravastars might be conducting a cosmic experiment, culminating in deliberate destruction, perhaps testing diverse configurations of physical laws to determine optimal conditions for creating a superior cosmos. The energy released from gravar instabilities might gradually increase the universe's entropy at an accelerated rate. This could hasten the heat death of the cosmos by billions of years, eliminating the possibility of organized structure formation. The electromagnetic chaos emanating from gravastars might interfere with the quantum processes governing the formation of complex structures. This could prevent the formation of new stars, planets, and life, gradually sterilizing the universe. The exotic particles produced by gravastars might accumulate in the quantum vacuum, creating a form of cosmic pollution that alters the fundamental properties of empty space. This pollution could eventually render the universe uninhabitable for any matter or energy. The gravitational effects of gravastars might destabilize the universe's large-scale structure. As the cosmic web of dark matter becomes dominated by gravar exotic matter, the framework binding galaxies together might collapse. The parallel universes created by gravastars might be consuming our universe's energy and information content. Each newly formed universe might diminish the total matter and energy available in our cosmos, gradually weakening the fabric of reality. But perhaps the most alarming possibility is that gravastars represent the universe's natural immune system, a mechanism designed to eliminate any life or intelligence that becomes overly successful. The cosmos might be deliberately eliminating civilizations that threaten to comprehend or control the fundamental nature of reality. The ultimate fate of a universe dominated by gravastars might be the complete elimination of the arrow of time. As temporal paradoxes accumulate and causal loops proliferate, the universe might lose its ability to distinguish between past, present, and future, collapsing into a timeless state where nothing can change or evolve. We have ventured into the most frightening realms of theoretical physics, where cosmic entities dwell beyond our telescope's reach and the limits of our comprehension. Gras embody the ultimate cosmic horror, unseen predators potentially devouring galaxies undetected. They are quantum consciousnesses wielding the laws of physics as instruments, cosmic entities giving birth to universes while obliterating others. These entities challenge our understanding of reality, from the nature of gravity to the very flow of time. The mathematics describing these objects strains human understanding, involving imaginary mass, infinite series, and equations suggesting conscious mathematical entities. The physics they represent could alter nature's fundamental constants, unravel the fabric of space-time, and transform our universe into something utterly alien. Yet, in confronting these cosmic terrors, we also witness the extraordinary power of human curiosity and scientific inquiry. Our capacity to conceive of gravastars, to grapple with their mathematical implications, and to search for evidence of their existence showcases the remarkable ability of conscious beings to understand their universe, however strange or terrifying it may be. The potential existence of gravastars compels humility regarding our cosmic place. We might share our universe with intelligences so advanced they manipulate reality itself, conscious entities existing on timescales that dwarf our civilization's entire history. But perhaps most importantly, studying gravastars reminds us that the universe is far stranger and more wondrous than we can fathom. Each new discovery unveils possibilities beyond our wildest dreams, pushing us to expand our comprehension of existence within this cosmic interplay of matter, energy, space, and time. The cosmic horror of gravastars may be real, but so is the cosmic beauty of a universe complex, enough to encompass both the monsters and the minds capable of understanding them. Subscribe to continue exploring the mysteries hidden in the vast darkness between the stars. The universe is more wondrous than we know, and our journey of discovery